It was a day of firsts on Saturday, a first defeat for new head coach Miron Muslic, a first loss against Queen's Park Rangers for Argyle from 2003, and the first time since August where we failed to score at home park. Yeah, a 1-0 loss that leaves Argyle 5 points from safety in the Championship table, and maybe more importantly, without a league win since November. This is Argyle Analysis, and we'll be looking back on Saturday lunchtime's defeat to Queen's Park Rangers, with a little nod towards our midweek fixture against Burnley as well to come. And to help me through it all is Aaron Cusack, as usual. It was disappointing. We billed this week as such a big week for Argyle, and we're almost at the end of it with just a point to show from it so far.
Yeah, it was a tough pill to swallow, wasn't it, the weekend? To not get anything from the game whatsoever. Having kind of got a point against Oxford where perhaps most of us thought we might be able to get 3. It leaves us in a very precarious position with the fixtures coming up. That's going to be a difficult run. There's a lot of work to do, yeah.
Yeah, there is. I mentioned it's the first time without scoring since August, which is quite a stark fact. But it maybe also is it's something that has been coming potentially. I mean, we've been falling behind in games at home quite a lot, but kind of getting through it, getting draws. There's something always about home park, as we know, leaving it late. And Saturday maybe was one of those where it just caught up with us. The chances weren't quite there, I suppose.
Yeah, I think that's a fair point, Charlie. I think eventually you will get games where you don't get any return. So if you do go a goal behind, you're not going to get anything from it. And that, a typical example was the weekend. We've scored so many goals late this year, and that can't become the reliant. You can't rely on that week in, week out, because eventually it will catch up with you. We've not been able to get our noses in front at home as often as we would have liked, and that's starting to show more so than ever. So there's a lot of work needed on the training ground to try and turn these fortunes around.
I think it's the 13th time in the last 16 games where we have conceded first. Ryan Colley, substitute, got the goal. Actually, a day after it was announced, he signed a new long-time contract at the club, which is good for him, but it's one I don't think Barley Mumble would look.
No, I mean, you can see why they've signed a new contract. He's a good player. I thought he made a good impact when he came on. Barley will want to forget the first touch. And Charlie, look, it's a real clinical finish. I mean, we talk about appropriate risk. If you're unsure, you just stick it in row Z. 99 times out of 100, if Barley does that again, he will stick it in row Z. Grimshaw's unlucky as well, because it actually falls right back to Shire, and then Coley, that's a really good finish. I don't think you can blame anyone there and say, well, could we have done that? Could we have done that? The finish. It's a real clinical finish. And it was one that you felt, as soon as that goal went in, you kind of felt that was it. There wasn't any inkling that we were going to get something from the game, which was disappointing. The positive, if there is one, is that there's a game coming in a few days' time. So hopefully they can kind of do some work today and tomorrow on the training ground and take it into what will be a difficult fixture, but there's an opportunity to try and put some wrongs right quite quickly. Yeah.
Do we have to give Queen's Park Rangers credit, though, too, for the way in which well, pretty much throughout the game, but certainly when they went in front, they completely just limited our opportunities. And so often you see it, don't you? If a side is hanging on away from home, Queen's Park Rangers don't have the greatest away record. It's not bad by any stretch, but it's not the greatest. But they're only 1-0 up away from home. They know what has happened at Home Park this season with late goals. And yet, their keeper didn't make a save after that.
No, they didn't. And I thought they managed the game as professionally as you would want them to, as their manager would have wanted them to, where just don't give them time on the ball, don't give them opportunities to run through our midsection of the pitch, limit them to kind of shots, if anything, from distance. And like you said, the keeper didn't have a save to make. So the defence, both the actual defence and the defending midfield unit, did their job. And what would have been disappointing is we didn't have an answer to them going in front. So we didn't have a plan B or a different strategy which would have caused them problems. So that's something that Muslich and the coaching staff will look at moving forward, because he's obviously still new to the setup, to try and come up with a secondary alternative.
One thing that we have seen from Argyle a lot this season is the way in which they do play with the ball, and when they're on it, they can play very nice stuff. And you can be penetrative on the ground as well as through the air, can't you?
And there were moments during the game at the weekend where they worked the ball really well. And we talk about breaking lines. So for those that don't quite know what we mean, like teams will set up with banks of 4s and 3s and whatnot. And the aim of the opponent is to break those lines, either by passing through or running through. So we know where El Hadj likes to play. He likes to play in that little pocket. JB plays a good ball there. So as it goes out to Puat, El Hadj is going to break a line. So he's going to break a line by running beyond that initial line. And that nearly returned a quite audacious flick, so it's being positive. So here's another example. Goes out to Rands. Can you break a line with a pass? Well, he will do. So he'll play into Morgan Whittaker. So there's one line broken. The next one, can Morgan Whittaker break a line with a pass? Can Beatty break a line with a run? Yes, you can. So then what you start to get is you cause disruption amongst the defending players. So as the ball gets recycled here, watch this moment. So it comes out to Randall. Can you break a line minimally 1? Actually, he breaks 2 here with a terrific pass. This is the bit where they're going to look to get better. Can you break that final line? If Beidou thinks, I'm going to break that line with my run there, I think he scores, because he'll be on the front foot and he'll be in the ascendancy. A couple of examples, second half. So a throw-in is still a pass. So can you break a line with a pass? In this instance, Morgan Whittaker's out the eye line. He breaks a line. Secondary line, can you break it? We got El Hadj in that half space. Now Morgan Whittaker breaks a line with his run, terrific. Now we're on that last line. So how can we be more penetrative by breaking that last line? Well, Ryan Hardy can go a little bit higher. Morgan Whittaker can play beyond. On this occasion, he plays to his feet, but it doesn't break the line. So whilst it's an okay attack, it's not conclusive, i.e. we break into that final area. Now, this happened quite soon after that previous clip, so it goes to Adam Randall here. So Barley Mumba's got the ball. It's going to go into Adam Randall. So can you break a line by passing? Well, in this instance, I'm actually going to break a line by running beyond. And because he drives through, he gets to the final line quite quickly. You can either play a slide rule ball or you can give and go. He opts to give and go. He breaks a line, and that led to a dangerous opportunity. I think it was just offside, but we didn't know that at the time, and nor did they. And this is the final moment. So we're going to let this one play right through. So can you break lines with your passing and your movement? So watch. You can see how the ball is being broken through those lines. It goes out to Ryan Hardy. In this 1v1 moment here, we'll be disappointed with his touch because it was a little bit clumsy. He'll be disappointed not to have secured possession. But there's definite foundation to build on. I feel that Argyle are at their best when they do that regularly. They just haven't done it as often as they would have liked to during games.